Hi, my name's Adam Mitchell. I'm a primary teacher. I'm currently teaching Year 6. I've been teaching here for 4 years, but I was lucky enough to do my final year teaching rounds here as well, and a little bit of volunteer work before that, so I've been kind of hanging around for about 6 years altogether now. Possibly the reason that I'm here in the first place is because of something that happened with the students when I was on my teaching rounds. A young girl who has cystic fibrosis chose to share her story and her day and her week and what her life looked like with the rest of the Year 5-6 cohort. It was one of the bravest things I've ever seen. She stood up and she showed them the medicine she had to take and the physio that she had to do, and generally how her life was completely turned upside down by what she was living with. And what occurred through that session was well, first of all, it was complete silence, complete focus. And at the end of the session, a few hands went up, and one boy stood up and he said, I have a thing called Asperger's, and it means I'm not great socially, and sometimes I misread cues. And then he sat down again, and another boy stood up and said, I have a thing called epilepsy, and it means I sometimes have seizures, and sometimes people don't notice them, and it can be dangerous. And what I saw occurring was, this was their way of showing that she wasn't alone and that she was supported, and that they were all a bit broken in some way, and they were just trying to get around her and make her feel like that. And I thought any school that can create a culture like that, where the students feel that safe with each other and with the staff, is somewhere I really want to be a part of. So that was a hugely memorable moment. I love teaching because of the immediacy of the feedback. You immediately know if you've done something right. You immediately know if you've done something not so right. And I love it because of the students. They're like little batteries. You can be feeling as flat as anything when you turn up in the morning. As soon as the students come through the door, it's just a boost. I think I would call my teaching philosophy unconditional teaching. It's a term that I would use to express the fact that I think all learning starts from a basis of support and care and love, and that support has to be absolutely unconditional. I think if the care is conditional on behaviour or conditional on output or academic success, then it's not really care at all. I think the one thing I'd like them to take away is self-belief, belief in themselves that they are worthy and they are good enough. That's simple as that. The good thing about teaching is that every day is full of memorable moments. I think some of the ones that stand out are the ones that involve genuine human connection. I think rather than the academic successes, those are the more important things to me. Going back to the unconditional teaching, I think one of the things that sticks in my mind once was a boy who'd had a particularly bad day. What could have gone wrong had gone wrong for him. He hadn't helped himself at all. He'd been in trouble with various teachers throughout the day, and he was having a really horrible time. And as he was leaving the classroom that afternoon, he put his hand on the door handle, and I just called out to him and said, tomorrow's another day. Every day you walk through that day is a clean slate. And he looked around to make sure there was nobody about first, and then he came back into the classroom and he just gave me a hug and disappeared off again. And I think it's moments like those that prove that you're doing something right. Yeah, the sculpture grew out of a maths lesson, believe it or not, where we were looking at the Fibonacci series of numbers and how it's everywhere in nature, from DNA strands right up to the shape of galaxies. They're described by the Fibonacci Spiral. And then we happen to be talking about a particular sculptor called Andy Goldsworthy, who creates environmental sculptures which are built to disappear. They're built in the knowledge that eventually they will corrode or fall away. And so we had the slightly ambitious idea of creating a Fibonacci spiral using just things around from the environment, with the knowledge that eventually it would fall apart and it would corrode and it would drop apart. And we had planned to take 4 days to create it, and due to circumstances beyond our control, we ended up with 2, but they pleaded that we could still do it, and they did an incredible job, and it's still there behind us now. So I'm very, very proud of them. And once again, it's just a reminder of what the students can achieve if you don't underestimate them, basically. There are multiple things that make Billanook a special place. I think, first of all, the students, as I've mentioned. The staff that I work with are caring, supportive, knowledgeable, and always there. It really genuinely feels like a family with the staff. The way creativity is not just supported, but it's encouraged. And there's never an idea that I've put forward that hasn't been greeted with a yes. So I love that too. And fundamentally, I think the one thing that makes this place stand out amongst anything else is the community, and it's a genuine community. You feel that from students, from parents, from staff, and it's something that everybody is very much proud to be part of, and I think that's what makes it stand out.